She steals my spot everywhere. Hey, Lacey. So, hello and welcome to the first episode of the Basement Web Show. I'm Olivia, also known as Olive Dragon 23, the person who runs this channel. This is...
Oh, I'm Sarah. I'm her friend. I'm Allie. I'm the other best friend.
Yeah, these are my two best friends in the entire universe, besides one of them who is living on the coast. So, yeah. And today...
And also part of today's series, this is Lacey.
This is Lacey, my, one of my dogs.
Yes.
You've seen her in some of my other videos before, in my vlog section. But that's not the point of today. Today!
Well,
it wasn't the point of today. Today, we're going to begin with a specific topic, and the structure of this show may change depending on what we decide to do with it in the future. But today, we're going to talk about stories in which Allie, Sarah, and I have been either locked in places or locked out of places. And
there's more than there should be.
There's a lot more than there should be. But let's be honest, there are a lot of days when doors just want to fuck you over. Okay? Especially if you have people who obsessively lock doors. Like my dad, for example, obsessively locks doors.
Would you like to start off that most recent experience of ours?
Yeah. So, basically, how this went was, me and Allie and Sarah like to take walks in the middle of the night in my neighborhood.
It's a very safe neighborhood. We do not fear for our lives.
It's a very safe neighborhood, but we also take, like, baseball bats and trekking poles.
That's just because we're weird. Not necessarily because we fear for our safety.
We call it zombie practice.
But that's a different story.
Yeah, that's another time. But we were doing one of those runs today, this particular day, and my parents were going out to dinner like they usually do. So they said, hey, are you guys going to be here? And we were like, well, yeah, but we're going on a walk. And my mom went, well, there are meatballs on the stove, so when you get back, can you just keep an eye on them for me so they don't burn or whatever? And we were like, sure, fine. So we went on our walk, and upon returning, found ourselves shut out of the garage, and all of the main doors were locked. So we had to go around the back, and there was all this construction going on in my backyard, so we had to walk all the way around the house to use the other gate that we never use. And it was broken off its hinges and a mess.
It was sketchy looking, honestly.
It was bungee corded shut because it was broken. So we get through that little obstacle, and we reach the screen door, which is normally open. It was locked. And we were like, well, shit, there's food cooking in the house. And we're out here, and my parents are gone, and my brother was gone. So the only thing I had was my cell phone. And we don't leave spare keys out.
We had my keys, but those didn't clearly made up with this house. No, you didn't have your keys.
Yeah,
we had my keys.
Your keys? Oh.
We had my keys. Everything else was locked inside the house. We had access to my phone, her phone. We had the phone
and your keys.
And keys and access to my car, which was on the street.
And my axe.
No. But I feel like my purse may have been in the house, so I don't think we had actual...
My purse is in the house.
We didn't have actual money.
No, we didn't have money because my purse was in the house too.
But and then so we began to search for like a stick that was thin enough to slip through the crack of the door and unlatch this screen door.
We were stupid fuckers though, because we were using leaves.
We were using
tree leaves. Because we would push on the door and it would only open like a millimeter. So we were using tree leaves to try and get into the back porch. And we were like, this is not working because it has a hook latch. So, and we were trying to get through the dog door.
Was it in someone's first day? Yeah, Sarah, crawl through that.
Yeah, we tried to get through there.
Like I could fit through that hole.
You tried.
No, I used the hole to unlatch the door. I grabbed the stick, stuck part of my body through the hole, and
I was
unlatched
the one
the door.
who initially did that though. Or, what, with a leaf. No, what's the word for post initially?
What? What does that even mean? A stick?
Secondarily, I guess, would be the word. Post initially. God,
What?
I'm an idiot. No. I was the one who I keep using that word. No, okay.
Are you saying you were the first one to
I was the last
idea?
one. I was the last one.
Okay.
I was the one who actually got the door open at some point.
Yeah.
Because I found, like, one of
The
those,
perfect step.
I found a construction stake.
Yeah.
And went, I can do this. And I was like, yeah. But I got it unlocked. And we were like, yes, now we can get in the house. Because the back door is hardly ever not locked, you know. Because they usually leave the door open when I'm gone. Usually they'll be started obsessively locking it, and I'm not really sure why. But we have. But so we get to the door and we're like, yes, we can get in now. No. It was
My
locked.
favorite part about it was that we were standing at the door, and there's this big window at the door, so you can see the whole kitchen. And the dogs are sitting there, wagging their tails, looking up at us like, hello, please come in and play with us. And we can see the meatballs on the stove
Cooking.
that are cooking, that we were supposed to be watching.
We can see our purses.
And we can't get any of this. We're just kind of standing there like, oh.
It was like orphan children looking in the toy store window. Except we were kind of panicking because meatballs were in the toy store window.
I mean, we probably didn't panic about the meatballs, but the fact that there was heat and it was cooking and we couldn't get to it.
The stove was on, and the dogs were out, and we were stuck outside.
It was cold.
It was cold.
It was
No, it wasn't. It was hot. It was summertime.
It was slightly cold.
It was summertime. But it was
It wasn't summertime. It was like last fall.
It was this summer.
It was
Yeah. We were wearing short sleeves. It was this summer, but it was like late summer and it was nighttime, so
It was a little chilly up.
Okay.
It was cool.
Okay.
So we were like, well, shit, what are we gonna do? Because I was making phone calls and nobody would answer the fucking phone. God forbid we ever actually
Your
have
whole family was like, nope.
yeah. God forbid that I'm like, you know, bleeding out in my backyard or something, because no one would answer the goddamn phone. I would have died. But that's not the point. So I make all these phone calls, I leave messages that sound like I'm just like losing my mind. And then I'm like, okay, my cousins might have an extra key. They live about 5 minutes around the block. So I said, let's get in the car, since we have that resource.
We had a car.
And drive over there and see if they'll give me a key to my house. It's embarrassing and stupid, but meatballs catching on fire was, you know, driving most of this. So we go over there and my cousins are home. But their parents are not. My cousins are 8 and 12. And we were like, and I walked to the door, and the first thing they do, the 8-year-old comes up, answers the door, and goes, what the hell are you doing here? And I was like, okay, if I had more time and wasn't freaking out, I would scold you. Where are your parents? And they're like, we don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? So then I'm ending up having to like call my aunt and uncle while they're out to dinner somewhere. I'm like, hey, do you guys have a spare key? And my uncle and my uncle's just like, well, I don't know. I'm like, really? My cousins have run out the door to go sit in the car with Allie and Sarah.
Yeah, because apparently that's the cool thing to do.
Yeah, that's the you know, coolest place to be when your cousin's trying to get you to do something for her. They didn't have spare keys in the house, and they didn't have spare keys, but they called my parents because like 5 minutes later I got a phone call from Mom, and I was like, where the hell is the spare key? Because if there isn't one, you need to come let me in. And she was just like, Olivia. I'm like, what? And she goes, there's a spare key. I left you one under the front door, Matt. And I was like, what?
And then we were supposed to know that it was there.
We never put a spare key outside.
We had no indication that it was there.
But she did it that night because she knew we were coming back.
But no one told me.
No one told you.
And I was like, Mom, how was I supposed to know? Well, it's actually the same shot.
Mostly.
It's just moved a little.
Okay.
So we're good.
You moved.
Did you press the record button?
Yeah, we're recording this.
Oh, okay, good.
So you're talking about the time we got locked in a graveyard?
Yes.
Okay.
Please talk about that.
Okay.
Sarah,
What did
lead
you-
on. It was your beach house area.
I
I
wanna
wanna
dominate the
Okay,
conversation,
so we went to the beach, I guess this was after we graduated high school, right?
Yeah.
So the summer after
Oh, and
Summer before
and
freshman.
our old
Of college.
other friends. There used to be 4 of us in this group. was there.
That sounds terrible. Every time you say it.
It's not like she died. She just isn't our friend anymore. We don't really know what happened, but
That's not relevant to the story.
It's not relevant.
Although she was blocked to the graveyard with us. Okay.
Yeah.
So
It was your mom.
My mom was too. Okay, so we went to the beach. My mom didn't trust us going by ourselves and being in a house alone for a week, so she came with us. But she mostly like just stayed out of our way and made
She
sure we
left us
like
alone.
had food and money. But didn't do anything.
No,
to
well,
us.
actually, we went grocery shopping. You insisted on buying an ass ton of ketchup.
Okay, this has nothing to do with that. I'm sorry.
That's not the point. Just shut up about the ketchup.
Not
We don't talk about my. I can stop anytime I want.
Okay, so we
Shut up.
went to the beach, basically just post-graduation celebration. We went to the beach. My mom was there basically to make sure we didn't, burn down the house, which is clearly a legitimate concern
With us,
based on our
yeah.
track record.
We'll get to that at some point.
But, I mean, we almost burned down the house in the last story as well. Actually, the
well-
story is prior to the
This
meatball story.
prior to meatballs.
So we went to the beach, and it's nice, we're on the beach, having fun, blah, blah, blah. And there's this really cool graveyard near where my grandparents' beach house is, which is the house we were using. It's in Beaufort, North Carolina. It's really cool. It's old, and there's a bunch of graves, and it's like one of my favorite places ever. So we were like, hey, we should go. But we had eaten dinner. And it was kind of late at night, and it was around the time where the graveyard should have been closing. We were like, nah, it's fine.
It was like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it was pretty late. The graveyard's supposed to close at like 6.
I did raise a concern as we're walking in. They're like, nah.
Yeah,
We'll be fine.
mostly,
still
it's
daylight.
pretty lax. It's a small town. The gate was unlocked, so clearly it was okay for us. The gates were still wide open. It was fine. There's still some light. It was okay. So we went in. We wandered around. It's all cool. Apparently, the guy who is in charge of the graveyard, the caretaker of the graveyard, had been in, checked to see if anyone was there, decided that we weren't in there, and locked us in.
It was a pretty big graveyard, and it
Yeah.
was dark, but still.
It's a big graveyard. There's a lot of graves and trees that would obstruct his view of the entire place, and it was dark. But yeah, so we came back.
darkening.
We came back to the
It
gate
was
we
dark.
came in. There's 2 gates. There's 2 main gates and the side gate. We came back to the main gate we came in because we were just gonna walk all the way through, but the gate on the other side was already locked, so we just came back to the main gate, and there was a massive padlock on it. We were like, well,
It was a chick. I took a picture of it.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a picture of it.
It's wonderful.
And we were just like, well, so we tried to look up, see where the side gate was, but it was dark and no. So,
No.
So I had the brilliant idea of this gate, this fence isn't too tall. I could probably get over
It
it.
was like a 10-foot fence.
And it was like
spikes on top.
Yeah, there were spikes on top.
Yeah.
It was an iron
It was
fence.
scary looking.
Mostly I was just like, I don't really want to sleep in a graveyard tonight, so I'm gonna try to hop the fence and go find the guy to let us out. And so,
I wonder what would have happened if one of us had actually escaped.
well, I was about to. I just hurt my crotch a little bit. So I started climbing the fence, and I get to the top, but you're at that awkward part where you're not sure which way to go without busting your head open.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of just sitting up there this is really painful, but I don't know how to get down.
Yeah.
That's when the guy, apparently the caretaker lives across the street, and he definitely saw me trying to get over the fence, and he thought I was breaking in, and I was like, no, you idiot.
Trying to break
Do you
out.
not see the fact that there are four other people in this graveyard, and I am trying
Telling you to be careful.
He's like, no, I'll unlock it. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to break in. I'm just trying to get out. You locked us in here. And
Help.
he lets us out, and we leave, and we're like, well, that was
really dumb.
pretty awful and embarrassing.
I feel like he gave us a minor scolding, the sign said.
He did. He was like, I checked. No, mostly he was like, I checked. I didn't see anyone in there. I was like,
I called out.
Where did you?
was there.
Yeah, I called out. I was
No,
like,
you didn't.
where did you check? And did you just so it's our fault that you didn't see us in there,
Yeah.
and so you locked us in.
Just scan it. Oh, we're good.
Yeah, I don't believe that he called out if anyone in there.
I don't believe it either. That's bullshit.
Total bullshit.
I didn't want to spend the night in that fucking graveyard.
We almost had a Ghost Adventures moment. We almost had to
Ghost
sleep in that.
Adventures.
We almost had to sleep in that graveyard.
I did
Or they
not-
don't sleep.
They don't.
We could have done EVP sessions.
We could have a seance.
We had a recorder.
Try to call a spirit to us.
Yeah.
I don't remember even being scared or worried. I think I just kept laughing.
Yeah, we were just laughing until
We
we
were
stared
lost in a freaking graveyard.
We were just so. It was in such disbelief this had happened. We were
Yeah.
just kinda really?
We were like, wait,
We're locked in a
what?
graveyard? Is this really happening right now?
What is going on?
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. But we didn't almost burn anything down that time.
No, there's just fire that time.
Yeah.
No. The Batman drinking game happened though.
But that had nothing to do with getting locked in or
I don't care.
We're not good at staying on.
It was a starting topic. I'm not adhering strictly to topics
Well,
in
we could,
this.
wait, hold on.
Because if we do that, we're just gonna be like straining for things on camera, and that's no good.
Not if I edit.
Not if you edit, not if we had lists beforehand. Like,
Well,
what to
we
do.
don't need a list. Lists are for pussies.
The first time I ever broke into somewhere was my own house when I was 4 years old.
Because I broke into your house when you were 4?
Yeah,
Oh my
because my
god.
grandparents were taking care of us while my parents went out. And it was me and my brother. So I was 4 and my brother was 2. And I guess we had gone out to dinner somewhere, probably like Chick-fil-A or something, clearly age appropriate. But my grandparents came back and realized that they had locked us out. And I was like, don't worry guys, I know that the back window's unlocked. I'm sure that made my grandmother have nightmares forever about how
It probably did.
our back window's unlocked and terrorists are going to come in and kill us in the middle of the night, because that's just how my grandmother thinks. But I have a distinct memory. This might be one of my earliest memories. I have a distinct memory of my grandparents hoisting me up to this window so I could get in and unlock the door.
That's hilarious. What the hell?
Yeah, that was my first experience with having to break in somewhere, and it was my own house.
I actually, as a child, got locked in underneath my great-grandparents' house.
You were locked under the house.
I was locked under the house, okay?
That's
And
terrifying.
their house is old, alright? It was like 100 years old, this house, okay?
Talk to me.
Well, no, we just talk to each other. We don't look at the camera.
Why not?
Well, you can, but...
I think the dog is sleeping with her eyes open.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, she is. Okay, that's enough on it. We'll make a set of videos. I can just upload them to Words
USB stick.
to my computer and
Memory
then to
stick.
USB.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, my brain.
So you were locked under your
But anyway, my brother and I, we were literally like maybe 7 and 6. And we used to play around in our great-grandparents' backyard. But their laundry room was underneath their house. Okay, they had an unfinished basement. So it was literally like stairs, sliding glass door, laundry, the depths of hell. Okay.
It was in the laundry room.
It was under their house was like hell. And I mean a pitch dark hell of which there was no return. Okay? So we were playing around and we were using the space under the house as like a fort or a prison or something. You know how stupid little kids are. And so we went down there and we shut the door behind us and it locked. And we were like, oh god, we're gonna die. So shut up. So anyway, we were like, we have to get out of here. So
Never mind. I thought you were going to start the story over.
well, no, because
Okay.
I got most of it. So
But okay. You moved spot and changed clothes.
well, don't point it out.
No, I'm gonna edit this part out. I was just wondering if you just go.
Okay, anyway, so we were like, we need to get out. So we were yelling through the floor, but no one could hear us, and we were just like, well, we're gonna have to get out of here ourselves, or we're gonna die. You know,
Because that's how little children's minds work.
that's how my mind worked, and that's how my brother's mind worked. So, you know, so what we did was, there was a ton of, like, junk underneath their house. I had no idea what all that shit was, or what we touched, or what we climbed on. And you know what? I don't want to know. But there was a little tiny square of light all the way across the bottom of the house. Because literally it was like the whole foundation of the house underneath there. And it was all, you know, built on top of this basement. And
You mean hell?
yeah, it was built on top of a pitch dark hell. So we said we're gonna have to climb to that little square of light. I don't know why they had this random little opening.
It's like a real Dante's Inferno kind of story.
It was! And no, literally, the side of their house next to the driveway had an opening that was maybe this big. Okay? And there was a door in front of it most of the time. But for some reason, that day, it was open. Probably because it knew we were going to get our dumb asses locked underneath the house. So they said, we better open this or they'll just die down there. Because we were afraid there were rats down there or something.
They probably were.
There probably were. And I'm afraid of rats. So that didn't help. So we start crawling in pitch blackness. Because once you got away from the laundry machines, couldn't see shit. Gone. Just black. So we'd start crawling over ladders and I don't even know what. Like, chairs,
Questionable
scrap metal,
boxes.
I don't know if there were even boxes down there. It was just stuff laying like horizontally. It felt like mountains to me and my brother. We had no idea. And we're like, are you still there? You know, we're trying to keep close to each other. We can't see anything. And then I'm like, okay. And when we finally got to that little window, we had to squeeze ourselves out of it. We were little kids and it was still almost too small. And we were like, we better be able to fit through that window. Because it looked really small from far away. It was pretty fucking small when we got close to it too. But we got out and we went back to the house. And we were like, why didn't you come save us? And they were like, we didn't hear you. And my mom was like, oh, I heard you, but I was on the toilet. So I couldn't help you. It's like, I love you too.
I feel like you're villainizing your mom in a lot of these stories.
I do too. And I don't mean to because my mom is a wonderful person and I love her to death. But, dear God, sometimes she just gets so spaced out. And I'm like, same.
I heard you, but I forgot.
Yeah, I heard you because the friggin' laundry room is right underneath the bathroom. So, I'm like, why didn't you come help us? And she was just like, well, I was on the toilet, so I couldn't help you guys. And then we were like, thanks, Mom. You know, we're 7 and 5 or whatever. And my dad just starts laughing at us. And my great-grandpa starts laughing at us and telling us we shouldn't go down there. I was like, that would have been good to know like an hour ago. And I love my great-grandparents. I do. But, I mean, really, it was just trauma. That's probably the earliest time I can remember being... No, because we got locked in the car a lot when we were children. My poor mother. I don't know how she survived.
I would watch you guys in the car too.
No, she locked us in. No, she didn't lock us in. She, like, we were at a gas station. My brother and I hit the... I guess my mom took me out of the car. I guess I had to go to the bathroom or something. We were on, like, a road trip, I guess. I barely remember this, but my mom talks about it all the time. And she took me out, and she was getting gas and whatever. And my brother's still in the car, and he's, like, 2. Okay? Brother's 2 years old. And it'd be fine, except he locked the doors, didn't know how to unlock the door. Okay?
God.
And my mom is trying to tell him through the window, you know, hit the button. And he's, you know, like a 2-year-old. And he thinks it's hilarious.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
he was laughing at my mom, and she's just like, hit the button, you know, in a gas station, a 2-year-old locked in the car, and she can't get in. He like locked her keys in the car or something. And, you know, so my mom ended up having to call the fucking fire department to come break my brother out of the car. And then they like let him ride in the fire truck and shit. So he got rewarded for locking my mother out of the car.
Of course he did. That's how that works.
Are you kidding? But just my poor mom. Like, we were not troubled children. We were just stupid. And went out of our way to be little shits when we were really young. We were good kids, but we got in a lot of trouble too, you know? But have you never, when was the first time you got locked in somewhere?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm pretty good
Everyone
at
has-
getting in and out of places.
You don't struggle with day-to-day tasks like walking it off.
Yeah, you don't have issues with normal activities.
Well, I mean, it only seems to happen with you guys, so I don't know what that's saying right there.
To be fair, most of these things happen with you guys, or my family.
Should I talk about breaking into school?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay. I mean, like, okay, no one's, like,
It's over and done with, and I don't think anyone's gonna care.
Okay,
You're not mentioning it by name.
I wasn't to steal anything.
Yeah, just don't mention
Okay,
what school it was.
so, I guess this is 5th grade. 5th grade, our choir director, okay, we went to a small, private,
Episcopalian.
Episcopalian school. The school will remain nameless. For, you know, whatever.
Legal reasons.
Potential legal ramifications of this story. No, you edit it out. Okay.
Don't like me.
Okay, so you know, it's either hey, you have to pick one or the other, band or choir. So I was like, I have no musical talent whatsoever.
Death or torture.
I guess I have to sing. So choir it was. The choir director was pure evil.
I degree.
Mind her. Everyone else hated her.
Well,
My dad.
she loved me. I got the award at the end of the year.
I never had this chorus teacher because I came to this place in...
This place. No.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Hey, it was
Anyway.
Nirvana to me.
Okay,
So,
go.
choir director from hell. My dad and a bunch of other parents teamed up at the end of the year to get her fired. Not even kidding. Anyway.
Well, and also the art teacher, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't know who got her fired. I just know my dad was involved.
You know, I think it was I was the catalyst for Miss Reedy getting her fired.
I don't
She
know
didn't
who
get
that
fired.
is.
She went back to St. Timothy's.
And then, well, I think Miss
Wreaked havoc there. Oh, crap. We should use real names. Damn it. Not a real name. I don't
Well, let's edit that whole
You're
segment
making my
out.
life so hard.
Just go back to your story. Just go back to your
Okay,
story.
my own story. Oh my god, I have to edit that whole. Okay. So, evil choir director. Mostly she hates me and my friend. I'm allowed to say her name?
No.
Me?
Let's just call her Margaret.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Okay, me and my friend Margaret used to sit next to each other in choir because at this point in time we were both the tallest girls in the grade.
Yes, they were.
So we had to sit together because it was in the like rows of height, whatever. So we were always together, and literally this is the worst idea ever because we giggle all the time. Margaret is crazy. I was probably crazy too. It's fine. And literally our choir director was so pissed off at us. Like literally, she just lived a life pissed off at me and my friend. Like, that was her day-to-day status.
Very nice.
Looking back
Dear
at it,
diary
kind of
today,
see
I'm
it.
pissed off at Sarah.
I'm glad if that was actually her diary.
It might have been. I bet it was. So we got in trouble all the time. She's the reason I got a lunch, my first ever lunch detention, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, I actually have forgotten the story at this point. No, I haven't. I got it back. She made it very clear. Like we had these performances around Christmas time that were like lessons and carols, and they were like a big deal because like people from the church there would
Yeah, it was a ginormous.
it was a big deal. It was terrifying.
Like,
thought
if you
it was
screwed
awesome.
that up, you were
Yeah.
just shamed.
She adamantly told us, like 2 weeks in advance, every day for 2 weeks, remember to bring your choir binders home so you have your music the day that this is happening. Because I guess it happened on a Saturday or a Sunday, so all the school buildings except for the chapel were locked.
Right. It happened on a Sunday because I was in choir pretty much
Yeah.
after 6th
So it was on
grade.
Sunday,
all the
Sunday
time.
night, I'm just going to backtrack because I don't know what happened. So we're all afraid of getting beheaded for leaving our choir binders in our lockers. So my dad says, hey, I can help you break into this building. And we were like, what? He was like, seriously, come with me. So we were around
Wait, like, how many of you were there?
There were at least like 6 or 7 of us who
Oh
forgot
my
our choir
God.
binders. And like, there was no way we were going to be able to
Why was your dad like leading around a herd of you?
Because we were all like, Dad, this woman's going to kill us. And he was like, well, let's go break into the school.
Let's go break into school.
So he let us around the side of the building with the older, like, the normal doors on the school.
Regular ass door.
Like house doors on the school. And he was like, here's how you break into a door with a credit card. And he taught like 6 or 7 10-year-olds how to break into a door.
Can you teach me that someday?
Yes, I will.
I love it.
With a credit card.
I promise I'm not going to break into
So
anyone's house.
we walked through.
Just in case I ever need to break into my
I
own
think we
house.
walked through Miss Purvis's. Oh, sorry, another name.
What?
We walked through one of the English teachers' classrooms into the hall to our lockers, grabbed our choir binders in, went back out, and my dad was like, well, let's figure out that this is unlocked later. And we just closed the door behind us and went to the chapel where we did our lessons and carols and, you know, didn't get beheaded.
There you go.
Because we broke in and got our choir binders out.
You know, I think I
What you gotta
actually
do?
remembered to take my choir binder home. Just saying.
Yeah, you were one of the ones who my dad taught how to.
Were you in chorus that year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everyone was.
See?
Everyone who can't play a musical instrument
At least they weren't
was stuck with the
Yeah.
special kids in choir.
Hey.
Choir is a special thing.
Yeah, but see, we
I
were
had-
friends back then.
I
Even
had-
though we were in the same advisory, and
Yeah.
they had us all go around in a little advisory group for some
Yeah, we were
reason.
the only class
Well,
we
yeah,
had.
we're 10. They can't let you just wander
The
off
only
the road.
classes we had not with our advisory was gym and choir and art.
Oh, Jim.
Gym. Actually, gym was still their advisory, but it was combined with someone else's advisory too.
Yeah. Double team it.
Double team that hell.
Oh, God. Gym classes were the worst.
We could have a segment about gym classes.
Dude, we can just do whatever the hell we want.
So yeah, that's my
Do we have any
birthday
more
school
locked
story.
in, locked out stories?
Oh, I'm sure we have a
We got it broken.
But, I mean, they can just come up as...
Oh, I have a, it's not like very exciting, but I do have one. So
Okay.
this is when my parents were in Canada, and I was staying alone at my house. And so I had just come back from who knows where, and I parked out in my driveway. And this was back when I had a car that had manual locks.
Oh, God. I remember that car.
I had gotten into the habit of, you always had your keys in your hand, and when I got out of my car, I pushed down the little, knob, and then my car, that's how my car was locked, and that was good. And so I get out, and I think I picked up one, so I have, a McDonald's bag, a backpack, a lot of other stuff, and I'm walking towards the door, and I'm like, well, where are my keys? And then I figure out, I think I just locked them in the car. And so, one, that's bad enough. Two, my house key is on that. So now I cannot get into my car or my house.
Wonderful.
And, oh, by the way, my parents are in a different country. So I think what happened is, luckily, I still had my cell phone. So I called my dad and was like, Daddy, I'm sorry. And I think
I screwed myself over.
I think my neighbors up the street had a spare key that I went and borrowed, so I got into my house, which we had a spare key for my car, so I could open my car to get my keys, and then I returned everything.
The importance of spare keys.
Yeah.
I learned that.
And good neighbors.
Yes.
Oh God, like the bitch across the street from me who stole our spare key.
What?
Yeah, we used to have this fake rock where we kept our spare key. And it's not like we had the fake rock in a prominent place. Fake rock was about this big, and it was under a bush. Like, hidden into the leaves.
You mentioned it.
Under a bush.
Oh my God.
And my dad has this theory, like this conspiracy theory, that he's not a little kid, he's in college now. But the kid across the street from us, who is a bitch, and all his friends are bitches, and they're just awful. I can't say that word. No, that's a school we can't mention because they might sue us too. I'm not on a school near my neighborhood. They always at school, and God. But my dad's like, yeah, that kid stole our rock. I was like,
that kid stole
Dad, how do you know this?
They didn't just steal the key, but they stole
They
the
stole a
rock
rock too, which had the key in it.
Why did you steal the rock?
I don't know. It's a plastic rock with a hole in the bottom.
What purpose does that serve?
I don't know. And he never tried to break into our house or anything, unless he's the guy who tried to steal our giant jar of coins.
He might have been.
Yeah.
What do you mean
tried? Well, it's too heavy. Like, clearly the thieves were on foot. Like, it's about this tall. It's just a glass jar filled with coins.
My aunt has one in her closet.
It lives in our garage. And it's really heavy. And so clearly the person who tried to steal it got tired, left it in the bushes, and ran away. But our neighbors had called the cops because they watched this happening. And so the cops took the giant jar of change to the police station and then called my dad and said, hey, if you want your property back, you're going to have to come get it. And my dad's like, really? You took it out of our bushes to bring it 5 minutes away, so I have to go drive over there, grab this heavy-ass thing myself, and bring it home. Instead of just leaving it in our bushes for us to carry back into our garage. Yeah. It's like the people who stole my dad's car in the middle of the night, took it for a joyride, and only took the pennies out of the cup holders and not the quarters. I don't know. There's a lot of really dumb people in my neighborhood.
Well, people who are stealing shit are pretty dumb.
Of course, the people who stole my dad's car, my dad was like, well, they can keep it. Because, okay, this was when we were living at our old house, so our driveway was a hill. And all the cars sat at the bottom of the hill. And this car was a piece of shit. It was my dad's old car. We were struggling to get rid of it because no one wanted it. The air conditioner was broken, the brakes were broken.
The brakes were broken?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
God.
Well, fun for you video about that. If you saw a stoplight, like a football field away, you had a heart breaking then. Or you were going to die.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so we called it the Beast.
The Beast.
It was a car we really wanted to get rid of, but no one wanted it. So it lived in our driveway. It was just surrounded by our other cars. There was like a car behind it, a car next to it. Somehow, the people who stole it, like, broke into it, somehow maneuvered it out of the driveway without hitting any of the cars or the bushes. And my dad came out to the driveway the next morning to go to work, and he was like, the Beast is gone. The Beast is gone! He was so excited. He was like, yeah! That fucking car is gone! He was like, I mean, I'm impressed. They got it out of the driveway without hitting the other cars. They can keep it. I don't care. The cops call us and say, hey, we found your car. And he's like, God damn it. I have to go get that piece of shit.
He should have just told him to scrap the fucker.
He should be like, that's not mine.
It's not
I
mine.
think I had some registration papers in it, whatever. But he was like, that's not mine. That's not my car. It's not my car. I don't know what you're talking about.
Take it away. I want it.
No.
Fuck no.
Yeah. So then we had that car for a little while longer.
And they only took the pennies, not the
They only took the pennies out a couple of, and then some pregnant family came by one day and was like, hey, you saw that car? We were like, if you want it.
Oh, God.
So we fixed the brakes before we gave it to a pregnant lady. Okay?
I hope so.
We did. Thank you.
God.
Yes. don't. Yeah. Jesus. So everyone who steals stuff from us is just really dumb.
That's probably...
Or it's the same one guy who's really dumb.
Maybe it is.
That's what the kid was about to say. Stole a rock, stole that car and then gave it back because it was a shithole. Stole that jar of pennies and gave up. I mean...
We have the laziest criminals.
We have the laziest criminals ever, yes.
Oh, I have another story. Once again, it's not great. It's never as great as your stories. I don't know why.
Your life is less weird than ours. You should be grateful.
Maybe I should. This was up in Canada. This is actually about our cousins who live across the lake. And so it's late. It's like 11 o'clock or something.
I think it stopped recording.
Oh, we have dogs now.
No kidding. This is Pippa, my other dog. But anyway, go on with your story.
Okay, so as I said, it was late. It was like 11 o'clock, and to my mom that was like, oh my god. So she answers...
You dare disturb my number.
So she answers the phone like, what?
Hello.
And then she just is like, oh, okay. Turns out my cousins across the bay had, they'd driven up from Toronto with the kids, and they had forgotten or lost the key, and so they couldn't get into their house, and they have these tiny kids, but they're able to get into their boathouse. So my cousin boats across the bay. We go down to our boathouse, we give him the key, and he boats back, and they're able to get into their house.
This is so random.
And they were really happy because they didn't have to break a screen or a window to get into their house.
That's always a plus.
It's always a good thing.
Not having to break things to get into
I
the
have
house.
yet to have to break something.
Yeah, I've never had to break
And many
anything.
times I've been locked out or locked into something and
I don't
somewhere.
usually
I
have to break into my own house, to be fair. I normally don't have that happen.
Oh, Bandit's barking. I think that's Bandit.
It's Bandit. She's got the laryngitis bark.
Alright, come back in.
She probably does, but I'm not
Oh,
going to get
yeah,
her.
right.
She can just sit out there for a minute, because she needs to go pee anyway. Isn't that right? I'm trying to think, because, there's 100 different times where we've been shut in somewhere, or shut out of somewhere, as it were. But most of the time, I don't really end up having to break in or out of places. That doesn't ordinarily happen. It's just usually that I'm like, well, I'm stuck. This sucks. But,
Every time I use the downstairs guest bathroom at our house, I think I'm locked in.
Oh, that
have you used that door? Okay.
And you start to get this fancy feeling, but then it
Because
opens.
the door just, you have to basically just slam your whole weight against it.
I've had doors
Well, I think
like
it's
that.
pull, it's in, so you have to lean back a lot. It
Lean
sticks.
back.
But it wasn't, at first it wasn't a problem, but I guess the house settled a little bit, and the door kind of went crooked or something, and I don't know. I always fear for my life when I'm in that bathroom, oh wait, what if this is the one time that it doesn't let me out? But there's a window in that bathroom, so I think I can totally climb out of it.
That's good.
That's good.
I don't have problems, so.
Speaking of, immortal terror of being locked in somewhere, Chick-fil-A, they have those huge-ass industrial freezers, right?
Are they the kind that they lock from the outside?
Yeah, the big steel doors. Yeah, those. So, where I worked at Chick-fil-A, it was my first job and I was 16. Okay, so it was like everyone who had been working there for 1,000 years and then me. And I had no friggin' clue what was going on. So, they would always send me into the freezers to get stuff. They'd be like, we need more water bottles, so you can go get them. Well, first of all, these freezers are supposed to open from the inside. So if you do get shut in, you can get out, so you won't catch hypothermia and freeze to death and die, because they are really freaking cold. So, first of all, the fact that they're sending this skinny 16-year-old girl, who's 5'6", to go and get giant heavy water bottles off the top shelves of these things, and they were heavy. So there'd be 20 water bottles in one thing, and I'm like, oh god!
because I would have to Spider-Man up icy shelves. Ice-covered metal shelves above a tile floor with this huge thing. I'm like, I'm gonna die. This is how I die, is with this water bottles. And, you know, but I lived in an immortal terror whenever I would go back there that someone was gonna shut me in. Because they can open from the inside in case somebody breaks in, you can barricade yourself in there, whatever. But they'll automatically lock if you shut them. One of them was fine and had the inside lock. The second freezer, the outside lock was broken. It would still lock, but the way they were doing it was with a screwdriver through the holes that used to be the handle. And so even if you wanted to, the inside lock would not work. You could not get out if you got shut in there. And so every time they sent me in that freezer, I was like, please, nobody shut the door. Nobody shut the door. Nobody shut the door. Because the people in the kitchen did not speak English. And no one would hear me if I started beating on that steel door. Nobody would fucking hear me. And nobody would have missed me because I'm the new kid. They couldn't remember to give me breaks, much less,
you know, eventually they probably would have needed something for the freezer. I don't know if it would have been in time.
I don't know if it would have been in time.
To prevent your fatal...
To prevent me from, like, losing a hand or something. Because I got bad circulation anyway.
True, you'd be, like, down
I would, like, at least have lost, like, a hand or something. Because I'm so sensitive to cold. But somebody almost did lock me in there once. Because it was like, one of the Mexican ladies just noticed the door was open and was like pushing it shut. And I was like, oh god, no, wait, I'm in here, please don't put the screwdriver in and make me die. It's just, God, so many things about that job. But that was just like one of the worst. I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get shut in the freezer and die. And no one's gonna buy my body. Because nobody cares that I'm here.
They would use your body as a chicken tender.
They probably would.
Oh, God.
I don't know. No, actually, Chick-fil-A isn't that bad when you get down to, like, sketchy factors.
Should we be using the actual name?
Whatever. Who cares? I'm not worried about it. Like, people, it's a free country and free speech, and Chick-fil-A is not going to come hunt my blood down. So
probably not for this, but we did sign stuff, just saying. Anyway.
I didn't sign anything.
I did.
No, I didn't.
Signed away your life.
No, they have no control over me anymore. None. I don't care.
Free.
I'm free, and I've been free for, I can't do math.
I swear you signed something that said you could not reveal the secrets.
I'm not revealing the secrets.
I know you're not.
Wait, are there secrets? No.
No, they're not. I'm just saying you signed something. Are there secrets, though?
I'm not telling anybody, like, a recipe or anything.
Are there secrets? Do you know secrets?
Do I know secrets about Chick-fil-A?
Mine.
Do you know secrets? But it's not yours anymore, now it's her water.
Do you know secrets that you're not allowed to tell us?
No, it's fucking Chick-fil-A. What kind of secrets could it possibly have? Harris Teeter doesn't have any secrets either.
I like how all these places that have hired you are so concerned about you leaking their secrets. They don't have any secrets.
I know, they're so concerned
I
I'm going
think
to talk about things
secrets
they don't
are
have.
exactly how the money is exchanged.
But I don't know that because I was a fucking cashier. I put food in bags and got abused by my customers. That's the secret.
Oh, talking about being abused by customers.
That the human race will treat you like dirt.
So I worked at a fast food place that's famous for its ice cream, and there was this one lady who we called...
Just call it Dairy Queen.
No!
Call it Dairy Queen. Fucking Dairy Queen.
They don't have secrets either.
They don't have secrets. None of these places have secrets. It's all a lie.
Okay. Anyway, we called her the...
You can't change names of everything.
Not the fucking Krusty Krab.
No, it's not the Krusty Krab.
We called her Banana Split Lady because she always would come...
the lip lady?
The Banana Split Lady.
The banana... I heard that's the lip lady. There are so many things wrong with that.
Banana Split Lady. Anyway, the point is she would come and she would always order a banana split blizzard, and something would always be wrong with it. There wasn't enough bananas. There wasn't enough chocolate sauce. Too gloppy. And we
too gloppy.
Yes.
Was that a legitimate complaint?
Yes, a couple times.
Oh my god.
So like
you should like slap her.
Yes, because that totally would have been okay. But anyway, so what we ended up finally being able to like recognize her like by voice on the thing, and so whenever she would come, we would like they'd let the people in chill know. They're like, this is her.
No, and it was just like.
like do it right. So like you were extra careful. You're like, make sure there's enough banana and actually at one point we were putting banana powder in hers too because she always was complaining that it didn't taste like banana. We're like, fine, bitch, because we're not supposed to eat
banana flavoring kapow.
We're not supposed to put that in there. And she's the one who's like, there's not enough banana. I'm like, fine. And so we started doing that, and it was better.
Was she eventually satisfied? Was she ever happy?
Once in a while, yeah.
Every once in a while, she was like, yeah.
I think
exactly what I wanted.
I think after the first, 3 to 6 times we got it right.
Is it still going?
I think so.
There's no condensation. Can I just put this here?
Yeah.
Why don't you just put it on top of that book?
Because it's a nice book, too.
Flip it over and put it on top of the book. No one reads it anyway. No one gives a crap.
What is it called?
How to Raise a Gentleman.
Oh, fuck that. Put the glass down on the book.
Yeah, just put the glass
Can they
down.
still see me when I'm leaning back like this?
Not as well. I
can't see your face.
I'm
woman. Don't lean out afraid.
Back up on the couch, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway.
Dude, you're like, okay.
What were we saying? Banana.
Oh, is it recording?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
I feel like there's a lot of me in this shot.
Well, yeah.
Do we want to switch again?
We could switch again.
I don't care.
No. Well, I feel like maybe everyone should have a time in the golden chair.
What I'm saying is, I think that the camera needs to be turned more the other way. Oh, you see what I mean? See what the rock is cooking? There you go.
Okay. Derp. It's just me walking towards the camera.
But can we say that the people here at the basement wish you a Merry Christmas?
But
we can try.
What? But Jews.
And happy
whatever doesn't offend you.
Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
Kwanzaa.
Okay, happy Christmas, Kwanzaa. What?
Isn't that something?
Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus. Isn't that something like Chalk Zone made up? Like happy.
I don't think they are the first ones to come up with it. No.
Well, they had a song about it.
Speaking of good shows,
Chalk
Zone.
I went back and watched a few episodes of that, and I was like, I don't remember their voice actors being quite so irritating and shrill, but I like this show.
Your parents definitely remember their voice actors.
Oh God!
Can we just say happy holidays?
Oh, I'm not. Merry freaking Christmas! I don't care who I offend. If it offends you, interject your own holiday.
Happy Merry Christmas.
Happy December-mas.
December-mas? I got Winterine-mas is coming in January.
Winterine-mas?
Winterine-mas.
What is that?
The month-long celebration of video games.
Oh.
From Control-Alt-Delete.
Oh.
Winterine-mas is coming.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got really excited because I forgot about that holiday for a bit. We could just sing
Happy December and Merry.
Happy December.
Happy December and Merry Christmas.
Happy everything.
Or let's do Happy Christmas. Let's do British.
Happy Christmas.
Just have a happy thing.
Have a happy thing.
Can we say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year?
We've already said Merry Christmas.
We've already said it like 100
Well, I want to do it together. I'm happy.
We should sing We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Please?
No.
Please?
No.
Why?
No.
First line, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
You guys are jerks.
No.
Okay, why don't we just say Merry Christmas together and you just say, well, what
Okay.
On 3 days.
Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Merry whatever religion you are.